It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. As you see, Heidi Nelson, City Administrator, busy with a book full of notes for people today. Welcome, Heidi.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for being with us. We've got a lot to talk about from the meeting on the 21st, about 2 hours and 20 minutes, so a long one for Maple Grove. One major item that was discussed, which seems to be discussed on about an annual basis, so we'll get to that in just a second. A lot going on in the city as well, so we'll tell you some of the things that you might want to get on your calendar in a few minutes. First, let's start with consent from the meeting on the 21st. A few items pulled. The first was the Arbor Lakes Business Park. Talking a little bit about the watershed recommendations. Give us some background there. Yeah, so this had come through the council previously, and since then the watershed has reviewed this plan and had some recommendations. So Councilmember Jagger just wanted to make sure that was acknowledged in our approvals there, and so that'll those recommendations will go forward as the plan moves towards construction. Another item from consent, Forest Preservation Management Plan, something that's been on the books for a while, but time for a revision. Yeah, so the Arbor Committee has been working on updating this and our management practices for these forest preservation areas. So Councilmember Hanson serves as liaison there, and just wanted to thank them for their work. We are going to be doing a bit more proactive management in the forest areas, removing invasive species, those kinds of things. And so this plan reflects those efforts, and so good to have that work completed. More to come as it moves along. One other item from consent, and this is Maple Grove Touching the World. Tell us about this unique item. Yeah, so there was some outreach from the National Guard and State Patrol with regard to the donation of kind of surplus equipment. They're looking for patrol vests, riot helmets, SWAT vests, those kinds of things for the defenders of Ukraine. And so the National Guard is coordinating that. They'll be collected and sent to Ukraine, and so our police department went through kind of our surplus equipment and was able to donate some vests and some helmets that will go to Ukraine to help those folks out during this time of war. I understand the State Patrol also involved in hanging around picking things up, so a lot of agencies involved. Let's move ahead to the recognition that was part of the special business, and this is recognition of Patrick Ferens, Executive Fire Officer. Tell us a little bit about the backstory here and the great work he's been doing. Yeah, so Pat Ferens is one of our deputy fire chiefs that oversees the prevention division, and he most recently was out at Emmitsburg, Maryland. That's kind of the National Fire Academy where a lot of fire officers go for training, national level training. And he just recently completed the 4-year Executive Fire Officer program, which is no small feat. So 4 weeks out at Emmitsburg, and a lot of work done on kind of case studies and research, and then many of those things brought back here to Maple Grove about kind of false alarms and our senior smoke alarm program, those kinds of things that are really applicable back here. So we're grateful for the opportunity for Patrick to attend this out at the National Fire Academy, and then now the new expertise and education that he brings back to his role here in Maple Grove. This is quite an accomplishment, and so congratulations to Chief Ferens. And it sounds like something that not too many people from across the country get involved with. This is a very special honor. Yeah, it is. I think it's kind of a small class that goes through, and it's a 4-year commitment, so it's kind of a big deal for him. And family at the council meeting as well for a few pictures, so very nice to see that. They were obviously very invested in it as well. Yes. The big item from the meeting was the public hearing related to street reconstruction. And again, a little background on this. Street reconstruction, something that happens in Maple Grove on a year-to-year basis, correct? It is. Every year we have a certain number of streets that we look to reconstruct in the city. On average, we have about 300 miles of street in Maple Grove, and so we want to be touching those streets about every 30 years, and that means we have to do about 10 miles of street every year to keep up. So we really look at it as a program versus just a specific project, because it's really we are systematically going through the city and reinvesting in our street infrastructure, as well as our water and sewer utility and storm water utility that's out there. So this year the projects are kind of south of 694, east of Hemlock, 2 larger neighborhoods down there, just about, I think, just shy of about 10 miles of road, and then also or maybe it's a little bit less than that, it might be around 8. And then also some trails around the middle school will get replaced. But the program that the city established many, many years ago was that the cost of the road would be split, half of it paid by the levy, so general fund levy that's paid by taxes, half of it
paid by the homeowner, and then the costs of any utilities improvements that need to happen at the time of the reconstruction are paid out of the utility funds. So the homeowner is paying about half of that cost of the road. We've been doing that for many, many years, and we understand that it's an impact in the year where it's your street happening. This year, the single family home assessment was $7,000. Last year was about $6,800. We had a couple council members last year that were in the project, Councilmember Leith and Councilmember Hanson. So they kind of remarked that it was $6,800 last year, and it's estimated at $7,000 this year. So we do offer financing over a 20-year period. It gets certified to your taxes, and so can be paid on the tax rolls. But it is really kind of a systematic program that's intended to do the upkeep of our roads. And I think a lot of times there's, well, we're only driving on this section or whatnot, but we really all use all the streets. And so this program then really helps to maintain our infrastructure throughout the community. So this one, a lot of public testimony. We do really try to work with people, if they have access concerns, they have an event coming, graduation party, a wedding, anything happening during the summer months, we really try to work with them. A lot of, driveway apron conversation. Some folks we had a gentleman that had just put in a new concrete driveway in the last few years and was concerned about how that matchup would occur. And we do really try to work with people to make sure that that's a good outcome for them as we go through the neighborhoods. So likely we'll be getting out to bid now on these contracts. We've, of course, a lot of the concerns about the increase in costs of construction, and a lot of the cost here is just really kind of asphalt and concrete and labor. So we've had a couple projects bid of recent that haven't been too bad. Closer to estimate than we thought they might be. So we're really hopeful how these bids might come in. So we're going to get out here, and a lot of the street, the road contractors are out bidding projects now for their summer deck of work. So a lot of input taken from the council. And one other point is we do have a senior deferral program. So I think the age qualification is 65. So if there's folks that are, weren't able to make it to the hearing but are in that project area and are interested in that, give a call to our engineering department. And with any real concerns, our staff is there to help you through this project, and hopefully a good outcome for the neighborhood. So that one did move forward to proceed with those projects for the upcoming summer.
And in just a few minutes, we'll talk about another element that was brought up in that conversation relating to values of homes and just the timing of both of those occurring at the same time for some residents. Moving ahead to community and economic development items, update from Joe Hogelboom on some things coming up. Planning Commission, busy coming up here. What's on their next agenda? Yeah,
so the next Planning Commission meeting, March 28th, we do have a variance for a porch in the 7100 block of Birchview Road. And then we also have a wetland text amendment that just kind of brings us into compliance with some state statute issues. One item of note that Joe pointed out was we had been working with Clear Channel. If you recall, there's two older billboards down off of 694. You can see there's construction happening now. This kind of all got driven by the construction of the new Keller Williams office building there off of 694 and 73rd. Clear Channel had come and wanted to kind of combine those two static older wood boards into one new dynamic billboard, which is pretty common around the metro area. We wanted to make sure that the billboard wasn't any taller or any bigger, and we really wanted to make sure it wasn't, there wasn't a lot of light shed. We have residential neighborhoods just to the south. So worked with Clear Channel on a plan there, and that construction of that new billboard will start to happen this spring. We don't generally allow billboards in Maple Grove, but this is deemed as kind of a maintenance replacement of that existing billboard there on 694.
Very good. All right. We'll keep an eye out for engineering update from the meeting on the 21st. Citywide Cleanup Day is coming in mid-May, actually the whole program. Remind us what that is and why it's a good benefit for residents.
Yeah, so our program is we have a drop-off day at Public Works, and then a day where you can kind of schedule ahead to have things picked up at curbside. So those happen around middle of May. Check the website for that information. You'll want to check ahead just to kind of what will they accept at Public Works. And then, of course, if you're interested in the pickup program, you have to sign up for that. And there is a cost with some of the items as well.
Very good. One other item from Ken was need for seasonal employees.
Yeah.
You're finding this in lots of areas, but Public Works is one that people may not think about. But this is an area where there's lots of great jobs.
There are, and we're hiring. So we have a need for seasonal help in our Public Works and our Parks area. Really looking some of those park maintenance or Public Works maintenance jobs. We're looking for kind of college age folks that are looking for a summer gig. It's pretty good. 7 to 3:30 Monday through Friday. You got your weekends free, your evenings free.
Yeah.
And we've increased our starting salaries as well to try to be more competitive with the market that we're seeing right now. And I know we're not alone in that challenge. Many of our neighboring suburbs are doing the same thing. So if you have a young person in your home that's looking for summer employment, we really encourage you to think about the city. Not only kind of those maintenance jobs, but in the park and rec area, lifeguards is a big deal. We offer and pay for all the training. It's a great opportunity for kids to get out and have a great job for the summer, in addition to all the other, kind of park and rec type programs. So we really encourage people to look at the city for that kind of part-time employment opportunity.
Very good. Go to the city's website, maplegrovemn.gov. You can find out more about all the job opportunities. Another longer item from the meeting was talking about the community survey coming up in 2022.
Yeah.
Give us a little background on why this is done, how often, and then what are some of the questions that people can be expecting? Yeah,
so we try to do the community survey about every 5 years. We last did it in 2016. We had advanced it ahead of our comprehensive plan update. So, and then now, kind of pandemic, and so now we're kind of getting back at it here to be doing it this spring here. So we're working with a company, Polco. It's the same company, actually used to be National Research Center. They were bought out by Polco, and so working with the same company. A lot of the questions that are asked are kind of the standard same questions every year. We like to collect the same data, benchmark against year to year people's feelings about the community, but we also then through Polco benchmark against other cities around, whether in the state of Minnesota, here in the suburbs, or across the nation as well. We do have some additional questions this year about the community center project and the proposed half-cent sales tax to pay for that project that will be on the ballot this fall, just to kind of get a sense of where people's thoughts are about that at this point. And then we'll also have a question with regard to organized garbage hauling. So that's something that we hear from the community quite a bit. Came up in our street maintenance hearing again about the number of garbage trucks on the streets. So we're looking to get out here probably late April, early May with the survey. How it comes to you, we do a mailing to about 2,800 homes in the hopes of getting 1,000 responses. And so that's our kind of random, statistically significant survey mechanism. And so that piece will go out to homes. You'll get a postcard. If you want to do the paper survey, you can. If you want to just go online, complete it, you can do that. So that'll be kind of one section of it. The other piece is that it'll be available on our website. So that'll be kind of the non-statistically significant data, but yet data that we collect. Oftentimes in the past, when we've done surveys like this, you compare those two groups, and they're sometimes quite similar. So, but definitely two different data sets. So we're hoping to have the results of the survey be able to be presented to the City Council either the last meeting in June or into July, early July. So we're looking forward to that. So folks should pay attention if you get the card or the letter in your mail to complete the survey. It is a 6-page survey. It's quite a bit of information we're looking to collect, but it's super important to us to be able to get that feedback from residents. And so we ask for your participation if you're asked to respond.
You bet. Get a cup of coffee and sit down and work on it for a little while. Final item from the meeting on the 21st was your report about the Capitol. Keeping an eye on things there, and as we're recording this, you just were there. How are things going at the Capitol, and what's Maple Grove keeping an eye on? So
we have 3 bills in play this year. We just had some hearing. We have a hearing tomorrow, and we had a hearing last week on our North Metro Regional Public Safety Training Facility sales tax exemption. So we had kind of thought maybe we would fall under the police and fire facility exemption that already exists in state law. But after some discussion with the Department of Revenue, they felt that we needed special legislation for that. So it is about a $300,000 number to the project if we're able to get that sales tax exemption from the state. So we had our hearing in the House last week, and we have a hearing tomorrow morning on the Senate side. We're still pending hearings on our 610 transportation funding. Some open houses being held this evening as we're taping this today, so it'll be after when people see this. But we are looking for $22 million to kind of shore up the rest of the funding, and that would come through the Transportation Committee. So likely those hearings in the coming weeks. And then, of course, we have our $18 million bonding bill that's out there for the community center project. And we've had hearings on that last year. We were part of the bonding tour. We don't anticipate additional hearings. We were included in the governor's bonding bill for that project, so we're really hopeful that one will come through as well. So lots of activity down at the Capitol.
Definitely, and more to come on the community center in just a moment here. Let's transition to some other things happening within the city, and one you can watch at the convenience at home is the State of the City. Tell us about the mayor's words and a few special guests.
Yeah, so we transition now, I think, to just doing kind of this video State of the City event. Our in-person State of the City event is really kind of celebrated with the I-94 West Chamber of Commerce, and that event happened earlier this winter. So the video is available out on social media. We encourage people to take a listen. The mayor sits down with you and talks about kind of what's happening in Maple Grove, what's happened in the past year and what we're looking forward to. And then joined by Brett Angel, our economic development manager, to talk about a lot of the new businesses in town, as well as Anna Transky, who is the interim executive director for our new destination management organization, Experience Maple Grove. This is, we left Minneapolis Northwest Tourism and started our own destination management organization here to specifically focus on Maple Grove. That organization, of course, is funded by a lodging tax that is paid when you stay at a hotel, which has been in existence for many years. So we're looking forward to Experience Maple Grove kind of really getting up off the ground here in the coming year and doing a lot of work in the city. So check out the State of the City report. Nice program.
Excellent. How about art? If you love art, the place to go is the Government Center. Who is displaying art these days and how many? Yes,
we have the District 279 Student Art Show. It's in-house till April 1st. I've had a chance to kind of wander through there, and it's really some lovely displays, and so we're really appreciative of that. Building is open from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, and then oftentimes building is open during the evening hours because we have evening meetings in the house.
Very good. All right, stop by and take a look. All right, tying back to something we mentioned earlier with the street reconstruction, something brought up there, and a note to residents is about property tax statements and some of the valuations. Tell us a little bit what you're hearing, and you've got a busy department at the city that's answering some calls, but maybe the website's the best place to go.
Yeah, we do. So people, residents and businesses should have received their property tax statements probably last week around Thursday, Friday, and we have been preparing for this. We knew that we've known for some time that the valuation increases were going to be significant this year, which is really reflective of the real estate market. Just the sales of homes. If folks think about the homes that have sold in their neighborhood and what the value that they've gone for, which is what we reflect our valuation on, is sales. Our assessing staff is available to help you. I would refer you to our website. We do have some information on there and kind of a mapping application that you can kind of check, where sales were in your neighborhood, just to kind of get an understanding of where the values are going. But yeah, we're seeing residential values increasing, 20%, and that is significant for folks. I think one important point to kind of keep in mind is that, and especially this year, oftentimes we'll see a swing, from residential to commercial industrial, but everything kind of went up this year. We've seen a strong residential housing market, a strong industrial market, strong apartment townhome market. The only piece that was a little less in growth this year was commercial. But we really have seen a lot of growth and seen those sales come through that are very strong. So when all the valuations go up, we're still dividing the budget amongst that pie. So it doesn't necessarily translate to a tax increase. You know, the council has to manage the budget and the levy every year, and so we're still dividing that same amount amongst all of those properties in the community. So the budget isn't going up 20%, the valuations might be going up 20%, but that budget piece is something we'll be working on in the year ahead here as we, you know, move towards 23. So just kind of separating those two things as maybe not, you know, being equal. That it's a very different kind of equation and measure, and you know, the council's very cognizant of that every year in terms of, you know, those budget impacts and property values. So we do expect a lot of activity at our Board of Appeal meetings that are coming up here later in April. So our assessing staff is working hard to try to keep up with those requests to come to Board of Appeal. But we do encourage folks to visit the website. I know we've had sometimes a line of calls, you know, folks trying to get through. So just keep that in mind.
All right, good information. My right, let's talk a little bit about an expansion here, and this may be great news to a lot of people wanting to get around Maple Grove, but also to some of the surrounding suburbs and services. What's happened here?
Yeah, you know, we've really found that this kind of microtransit, local transit has really kind of become more of a need and quite popular here, kind of coming, you know, through the pandemic and out of the pandemic. Certainly commuter bus service has been impacted, you know, significantly as with less people going downtown. So we've really tried to kind of lean into this My Ride service and expand that. You know, today we offer service from Osseo, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, the Robbinsdale Transit Center, the Crystal Shopping Center, the Plymouth Transit Center on Highway 55, the West Health Campus, and of course cross services up in Rogers. So we've tried to expand that footprint to really address the needs of not only, you know, kind of our Maple Grove residents, but folks up in the Northwest Metro. So visit our website. There you can book online, you can pay online. It's really kind of trying to be more of an Uber-like service, and so we encourage people to check it out.
All right, how about a next page of seasonal information? It is spring pretty soon here. I guess we're in it now. Let's talk about the yard waste site. Always a favorite for people. The anticipation is growing. When can we go there?
Friday, April 1st is opening day of the yard waste site. Coming in here today when it was snowing. I'm not sure we're going to be ready for yard waste pickup on April 1st, but mgyardwaste.com is the website there. And just a reminder, people, residents need to bring an ID showing their Maple Grove residency, and then there's no cost.
Good. Another seasonal item. We have Severe Weather Awareness Week coming up in April. Why is this important for residents to pay attention to? Yeah,
so April 4th through 8th is Severe Weather Awareness Week in Minnesota. Each day of the week focuses on a different weather safety issue. Thursday, April 7th is Tornado Drill Day, and with statewide tornado drills at 1:45 and 6:45. So you're going to hear some sirens that day that are kind of off the cadence of the first Wednesday. But I think it's just a good reminder for families, you know, to kind of check in on their own safety plans and think about the severe weather season coming up and where they would go if there was a tornado, that kind of a thing. So it's just a good exercise for us all to remember that that season is ahead of us.
Agreed. Recreational burn permits. You might be thinking to get outside with an outdoor fire, but there's a permit that's needed. How does this work?
Yeah, we asked you to go to the website and sign up for a recreational burn permit. It's free. What we're really trying to do is provide some education and information to residents so that we don't, you know, have recreational burns getting out of control or, you know, outside the parameters of what's allowed in your backyard. So available on our website.
Another great item here is the farmers market, still indoors due to the weather, but we've got a couple more and then outdoors come. When are the indoor?
Indoor markets April 7th and 21st from 3 to 6 p.m. and of course those are held in the community center. We have about 25 vendors that bring a variety of products and to the market, and outdoor Thursday markets will return in mid-May.
Speaking of the community center, let's end on a little update about the community center. We've mentioned a few times the community center project. What's the progress here? What's new information people need to know about? And you've got a great website as well.
We do. The website is out there, and you know, it's kind of a living document. We continue to add information to it as we hear field questions from the community or we see issues raised that, yeah, we should probably address that. We continue to add information there. So we really encourage people to go out and visit growingtogethermaplegrove.org. We continue to have kind of some social media information that gets out there too on our various platforms, whether through the city or the Park and Rec program. And so really encourage people to reach out if they have questions. There's an email that you can email or a phone line that you can call.
Good.
We had our first community center working group meeting the other day, and so
that's a large group.
That
right?
is a large group. We're almost 20 folks, but it's a group of interested residents that serve in a variety of capacities. Great discussion, great questions, great insight, and so we'll continue to work with that group as we work on our space programming, and then of course the communications and information for the half-cent sales tax question this fall. We do get a lot of questions about Lifetime Fitness, what's happening, and I think at this time we don't have final answers on that. I would say we remain in negotiations with Lifetime with regard to their site, and we hope to know more here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We know our plans have reflected us acquiring that site, and we don't have final answers yet, so we ask for folks to bear with us here, but regardless, we have expansion plans for the community center, renovation plans for the community center that will go forward in some fashion. So stay tuned for more information on that, but again, refer to the website if you can.
All right, that specific site, growingtogethermaplegrove.org. Also some videos out on social media to give you some background and give you some visuals of what it might look like. Heidi, thank you so much again for your time today.
You're welcome.
Giving us the update. Let's leave you with the next meeting date and also that website, all important with lots of information there about things that are going on in the city, maplegrovemn.gov. Next meeting, Monday, April 4th, 7:30 at the Government Center, and the phone number there at the bottom of the screen. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us. And if you have questions or comments on that viewer response line, 533-1710. Thanks for being with us.